Bruce and I met at Taylor University. We were both high school athletes and decided to go to Taylor because we thought we could play. It was a small Christian liberal arts school. We were brought up outside Philadelphia, and we were 650 miles away from home. First day of school, I met him in the library. Probably the only time we were in the library our freshman year. Anyway, I met him in the library, and I saw that he had a letter sweater on with LA on it. And I thought I'd take a chance and say, "Did you go to Lansdowne Alden?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I went to Marple Newtown," thinking we'd have something in common and he'd light up a little bit. Instead, he said, "Oh." I said to myself, that's the guy I'm going to marry. So I spent the next several months just becoming friends with him. All our friends knew that we were just friends. No one knew what I had in my heart. And our first date was me asking him, but it was under duress. I said, "Lord, if you want me to ask him out, all these 5 impossible things have to happen." They did, and I asked him out. I asked him if he'd go to a Sadie Hawkins with me with our dorm. And he said, "I'll think about it." To which I was horrified and embarrassed, but nevertheless, Friday night before the date, he agreed to go, and we went.
One day, Bill met Jean. It was love at first sight. The two fell head over heels for each other, and they both felt the fireworks of passionate emotions exploding as they talked together. They both believed they had fallen in love. But Bill was scared by all that he was feeling. He'd never been in love like this before. So he went to see a counselor a friend recommended.
Why are you here to talk to me today, Bill?
I think I'm in love. I can't stop thinking about this girl named Jean. She's so beautiful, and I think she's the one for me.
Whoa, not so fast there, Bill.
Bill felt shivers of fear and doubt seize his pounding heart.
What do you mean when you say love? What is love?
Bill suddenly realized that he'd never given this question too much thought before. He always believed that he would know what love was when he felt it, so he blurted out his answer. "Love is a feeling that you feel when you feel that you've never felt that way before." Counselor was trying to stifle a chuckle when he said.
Oy vey.
Bill felt all of those love bubbles he was feeling burst with the realization that he'd given the wrong answer. But Counselor quickly recovered and said,
Bill, let's talk about love.
And suddenly a magic board appeared, and Counselor began.
Bill, there's 3 kinds of love in this world, and it takes all 3 to make a marriage all that it's supposed to be. The first is agape love, the second is phileo love, and the third is eros love.
Bill was confused. He'd never heard any of those words before. What did they have to do with love? Counselor went on.
The first one, agape, describes God's unconditional love. You see, Bill, the world believes that marriage is a contract. I will love you if you continue to make so much money, or if you look a certain way, or if you're meeting my needs, or if. We have all sorts of ifs. But if you stop doing any of those things, it's over. But if marriage is going to be all that God intended it to be, you have to believe marriage is a covenant, an unbreakable contract, if you will. That says, I am choosing to be committed to you for the rest of your life, no matter what you do or how I feel.
Bill suddenly remembered the marriage vows he'd recently heard at a friend's wedding and piped in, "Oh, that's just like the wedding vows. For better or worse, richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, for as long as you both shall live."
That's exactly right. This love's not a feeling. It's an act of your will. So when you say you're in love and she may be the one, the most important question you need to ask yourself is, can you make a commitment to love Jean for the rest of your life?
Bill thought for a minute. "I think so."
I believe you'd want to make that commitment, but it's very difficult to do that unless you have the presence of God living in you to help you love Jean the same way God loves you. Agape love comes from God. He needs to be a lifelong partner in your marriage. When you go home, I want you to read 2 passages from the Bible. The first is Romans 8. That says there's nothing we can ever do that'll make God stop loving us.
I remember that.
The second passage is one that you've probably heard at weddings. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, where the writer describes the perfect kind of love God has for us and we're to have for each other. Bill, if marriage is going to work, you need more than just that tingly feeling. Marriage won't work without agape love at its foundation. You need that unconditional commitment.
I looked out this morning and the sun was gone. Turned on some music to start my day. And lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and I slipped away. It's more than a feeling, more than a feeling.
Well, you know from watching our first Fan to Flame date about Turtle and Hailstorm that I'm socially and emotionally challenged. So I was a little bit petrified about this love relationship thing. And when Karen started dating another guy, and he was a real loser,
Water ski champion.
I had an epiphany that if I was going to make this thing work, I had to step up and be all in, and I would need to make a commitment. So what we want you to do now is get into the knee to knee, nose to nose position. Make sure you have your questions. Turn and face your spouse. And you're going to take some time to catch a little peek of what God's agape unconditional love looks like for us. And as you interact, remember what Counselor said. Your marriage is not going to work without God's unconditional love serving as its foundation. We need to have that commitment.